Hey, what's going on, everybody? The video, I'm just making a quick video here. As you guys can see, another video with me in it instead of just behind the camera all the time. And yeah, today was interesting. I went up to our other property. I got a new truck, so that's the other thing. I have this, it's a Ram 3500 turbo diesel or whatever. I needed it for moving all the wood and everything, and trailer loads of wood. And so yeah, it has summer tires on it, and drove it up to the property today, and most of the ground was pretty dry, but it did rain up there, so I made it all the way up to like the last section and then hit a whole bunch of mud, and it was going back and forth, and I couldn't go any further, and so I had to reverse and did it like 2 or 3 more times. That didn't work. I tried going up backwards. That didn't work either, so I just said screw it and had to walk up the hill, which is probably a good thing. I need the anaerobic exercise. And went up there and got the mule and had to hook up the log splitter to the mule and everything, and drove that down to where the truck was, put the log splitter on the truck, and off I went. So yeah, you know, all the way back, it's probably about 25 miles or so, and at least the roads are like ultra smooth. So yeah, every once in a while I'd feel like this sort of weird vibration, and I couldn't see anything because the truck is so tall and the log splitter is so short that it was like I was towing nothing. I couldn't see anything behind me. And because it's so short lengthwise, the log splitter, in terms of like a trailer or whatever, or trailing behind it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, I hope something, you know, isn't going wrong back there, because I really need the log splitter. And today it was really nice out. It's Halloween. It's about 75 degrees out today, which is really weird considering how it snowed a couple days ago. And got the thing back here and went to reverse it into the driveway, and as I see it, you know, turning, I was at enough of an angle that I could see the back tire and everything. I noticed that the back tire was like at an angle, you know, one side's, you know, vertical, the other side was completely like that. The tire was about to fall off. So I disconnected it from the truck and spun it around, and the freaking wheel came off. It came off. Just like pull it right off. Miracle, like freaking miracle. That thing could have, you know, created a disaster and a huge trail of sparks behind me the whole way. I never would have even seen it. That truck is so powerful, it wouldn't even notice that it was dragging something. So I couldn't believe it. So anyway, that log splitter was staying here. I thought I should have brought the trailer with me and then put the log splitter on the trailer like I did. That's how I got it up there to begin with. But no, I just decided to go the easy way today, and that's what happened. So anyway, yeah, we're back home here, and huge log pile. It's about 9 cords of wood. And it was fun because, you know, all summer long I've been using these saws, and these saws are awesome. And, you know, I've been cutting trees down and milling. And so that's primarily like what I was doing this summer. And now that we've got this huge log load here, it was kind of fun to put this 391 to work. It's got the 2-foot bar on it right now, so I'll just say it's an awesome saw. It's got plenty of power. It's 64 cc's or whatever, and has no problem cutting through stuff, like really heavy stuff. It just keeps going. Like, it'll slow down, but it keeps going. And That's what I love about these Stihls. It's just, you know, give them a load and they'll do work with it. It's crazy. This thing has always been in my mill, like all summer long. I used it to cut a couple some big trees, and it was just kind of funny, like how quickly it did that. And I, you know, cutting up the logs to length and everything with this saw after I cut the trees down. And so yeah, I'm pretty used to this. And both of these saws, I'm like totally accustomed to using these saws now. And it's kind of weird looking back at my MS250, which is kind of where it all started and everything. And these have become like my primary saws. You know, I'm so used to using these that, you know, I have to remind myself that they're you know, very, very powerful. That's the other thing. So I wear full chaps, like full wrap. I've got a pair of Haix boots that I'm wearing right now. All right, those are the class 2 chainsaw boots, and I have another video that I was going to mention it really quickly. The first pair that I got fell apart, and I don't know what happened or whatever. And Haix sent me a brand new pair of boots. They didn't ask me like, oh, you know, do you want to pay for a repair, or, you know, can you wait a couple months for it to be, none of that crap. I sent them the picture of the buckles that separated from the boot. I'll show you guys really quickly. You know, I'm off on a tangent now, starting talking about the log splitter, and now I'm going off about the shoes. But I just wanted to mention these, you know. And then these are all Halloween colors for today. Yay! These are the boots. And these are freaking awesome boots. They're just like the La Sportivas that I have, mountaineering boots. But these, I had these for about a month and a half, and this strap broke one day. I was tightening them on and everything, went to loop them, you know, tighten everything together, and this thing just came apart. And I'm like, what the heck? What? You know, I was looking at it, I'm like, how did that even happen? This is like really heavy duty nylon that's like reinforced or whatever. Well, the stitch came right out. It's not like I was sitting there pulling with all of my strength to get the shoes on. So that broke. I dealt with it, you know, just kept using them or whatever, and then a week later, the outer buckle, this locking buckle, snapped right off. It came right, you know, I was tightening the shoes down and looked at it, I'm like, what is going on with these? You can see that there's a metal mounting plate like inside the leather of these. These are freaking awesome boots. They're fully waterproof, they're steel-toed, and they're a level 2 chainsaw protection. So I couldn't believe that it broke. I was like, yeah. So I took a picture of it, sent it to Haix. And the woman who dealt with the claim and everything, she was like, hey, you know, we don't do repairs or anything, but what's your address? And I'm like, okay, here's my address and everything. And they sent me a brand new pair of boots. They were there 4 days after I got that email from her, and 4 days after I talked to her, and they just showed up. I was like, I couldn't believe it, you know, could not believe. This is Haix right here. This is a company that stands behind their products, and I'm just going to say that really quickly for you guys that are wondering about these boots or whatever. It comes with an extended wear program, and there's all kinds of stuff about these boots. These are made in Germany, I believe. Yeah, that's what it says. So anyway, yeah, awesome company. You guys, you know, have a saw like this, and you don't want to mess around or whatever. Get these boots, because you don't want to take that chance or whatever. You know, all of us like everyone's used to, you know, wearing the clothes that they wear, and they cut, you know, work with whatever they have or whatever. But with this 592 especially, I'm a big fan of protection. Anyway, the helmet, have to wear the helmet. This thing is so ridiculously loud that you will go deaf, and especially in a, you know, an area where there's like, you know, a little amphitheater behind you or something that where you're cutting, or you're in a valley or something like that. It's incredibly loud. So yeah, it's definitely beneficial to have that. Anyway, talking about the log pile, so I, you know, it was interesting because the saw is like, yeah, they're all in a pile now. It's not like cutting through one log at a, you know, one section at a time or whatever. This saw with a 2-foot bar was cutting through, you know, 2 full like huge, huge pieces. And like I said, it just didn't slow down. The other thing that I wasn't really happy about is that the logs came, they showed up, and I wasn't here when the guy dropped them off, but it was raining outside, and those logs were embedded with dirt. There was so much dirt on them, all the way around them, like they'd been spun and dragged through the woods, you know, and there's literally like mud. So I had spent like it took like an hour. I was out there with a really high pressure hose spraying all of the dirt off. You know, people were driving by looking at me. It wasn't raining at that time or whatever. The sun actually came out at the end of the day, but I'm sitting there spraying all of this mud off, you know, and all the old school, like, you know, logger guys and people around this area, they knew exactly what I was doing. It was kind of funny, but because I don't want to, you know, sit there and run through a whole bunch of dirt with these chains and then sharpen them every 5 minutes. So, you know, I was very careful about it. I mean, you know, I'm just going to talk about a log, big, you know, good sized diameter, 20 inches in diameter or whatever. And the whole thing is wrapped, or just completely covered with mud. Like, you know, it doesn't just fall off. It's like embedded, like I said, in there. And there is a way to do it. I figured out a way to cut it to make sure that your chain doesn't get worked like right away after you sharpen it, cut into the first log. And what it is I'll go over the top of the log and very lightly just pull it back, pull the tip back so that I'm pulling away, you know, you can see fresh wood behind that. And I'll keep going and just barely go underneath it. And I'll go on the top, and then I'll just go right through the thing, and then there's a little strap in the back, and I cut that off. And for some reason, this saw, I ran it for like an hour before I hit some dirt or a rock or something. So that technique actually worked, and the chain stayed sharp that whole time. So I figured it out, you know, and at least what worked for me or whatever. So anyway, got all the dirt off of it and went through it with the 391 and cut up a whole bunch of stuff, like literally probably 2 cords of wood with it. And it's a champ. Well, today went out there and, you know, split up a whole bunch of this, or went and started splitting everything, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break from that, and picked up the saw and went to start cutting again, and freaking thing wouldn't start. The saw has a track record of like running endlessly without stalling or, you know, having problems starting it or whatever. And I used pre-mixed like ultra high octane fuel, and that's all I use with these saws, because at least I'll know that it's not the fuel that's the issue. So anyway, I was like, yeah, cool, you know, gotta work this thing, you know, figure out why it wasn't running or whatever. I didn't even bother. I knew right away that it was the filter, and I was excited, and I just went outside with this 592 because this has been locked in the milling setup like all summer. And I'll take it out, like I said, to cut trees, cut the big stuff and everything, but this has always been in the mill. And today, and I was thinking about it yesterday when I was using this thing, I'm like, I wonder how much faster the 592 is. Well, this wouldn't start, brought it back inside, fired this thing up. It was ridiculous. It sat there and just cut through like 4 logs at a time with this 2-foot bar, and it just does not stop. It's ridiculous ridiculous. Like, it's snowing sawdust. Piles of it. And so I just wanted to say that this is, you know, finally I got to see the true colors of the saw under a really heavy load, cross-cutting and not, you know, end grain cutting when I'm milling and everything. This thing just powered, like I said, I stood on the end of the log pile and just went like right through it. Huge, huge logs. Effortless. Went right up on top of the pile and just cut through like 4 logs at a time, you know, through all the chunks everywhere. It's wood central up here. We've got so much firewood, it's ridiculous now. But we're selling it, so this thing is paid for itself, and it will help pay for the new truck that I got. And they just had an awesome deal. That was the thing with Dodge. They dropped the prices of their trucks by like $20,000. And the 2500 Ram was the same price as the 3500, so that was a no-brainer right there. So anyway, I've had Chevys, I've had Fords, now I have a Dodge. Not even going to talk about it. I don't care. They're all made and engineered here in the United States, so that's all I can say about that. These are made. This one's made in Germany. This came with a little sticker on the front that says made in Germany. This is not a pro model. This is a homeowner version, but for some reason it's got that sticker on it. And that sticker is usually set aside for all the pro saws with the magnesium body. I'm not sure why it's set up like that. Maybe somebody can answer that question or whatever, but you know, I can't compare these at all. They're totally different saws. They're made in 2 different areas of the world. And they have proprietary engineering that is specific to each company. And I'll just say this is great, you know, pulling this thing out, you know, push the lever up, press this little primer a couple times, this thing starts every single time, all the time. That's what I care about. So I took this thing inside and it had such fine powder that was literally the same color as the filter. You know, I'm looking at the filter and I just started tapping it out, and it had so much dust in it. Like ultra, ultra fine, high particulate dust in there that was dry, and it was completely clogging the thing. There's no way it was going to start. It did start, it was trying to start, but it would stall, and anyway, so, magnesium body. This thing is definitely a little bit more, I guess, ergonomically tiring than this 592, and I'll just say that. And maybe it's, I have no idea how or why it's like that, but I think some of it has to do with the fact that they're balanced totally different. So the Stihl, as you can see, you pick these up, it doesn't matter if it's got a 20-inch bar on it or whatever, it still does that. Whereas the 592, you can pick this thing up and the bar's level with the ground, and you're not doing this all the time. Picking the thing up to cut, picking the thing up to cut, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing with the Stihl, and I didn't even notice. Like, you know, I don't care about that or whatever. Well, at the end of the day, I realized it because I picked up this saw and used this for, you know, 3 hours after that. And yeah, that's what I found over a long period of time, is that these Husqvarnas are balanced so well. If I had known, I would have just gotten this 592 all by itself, and it would be my only saw, because that's all I need. It cuts everything, and it's powerful enough to mill stuff. With plenty of power. So, I mean, that's it. This is the most versatile saw. I was going to get the 572 because I wanted something that was more powerful than this, because this was having a hard time with really wide wood slabs, and it would slow it down like crazy. So, and this with an ultra sharp semi-chisel chain. And it was just, you know, every once in a while, it would get to the point where the saw would just stop. And I couldn't deal with that. I had so much stuff I needed to mill out. And so anyway, that's where the 592 came in. this log pile is, I'm trying to process it as fast as I can, and I'll just tell you that the rest of it I'm going to be cutting with this 592 because it's faster. Overall, that's all I care about, is that it's faster. It cuts faster and the work gets done faster. So I can just say that. If you're not in a hurry, that doesn't matter. But for me, you know, I don't want to be doing this until the end of time. You know, it's going to start getting really cold, as it has been anyway, and it's really going to get cold. So it gets down to like 20, 30 below zero here, and I'm curious to see how these are going to run in that cold, because I never really used chainsaws in the winter time, other than to just cut pieces of firewood and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it right there, in terms of that. And I'll just say that, you know, this is the Oregon Pro chain, and this thing is awesome. It stays sharp for a really long time, and this is the XP Plus chain that came with the Husqvarna, and it's their XP Rapid Cut, I think it's called. This is the same chain that came with the saw. Okay, cut probably about 30 trees down, cut them all up into log lengths, you know, and cut all of the other trees and buck them up. I mean, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 1.5 to 20-inch long log pieces with this one chain, and milled out enough to build my camp, build an extension onto that camp, and then build the deck onto that camp also. Everything with this chain. I'll just say that, you know, if you sharpen it properly and you're smart about running it and not hitting stuff with it or whatever, it'll last forever. You know, I cut through a whole bunch of stuff today, and it had dirt on it because it's piled with sawdust on top of everything now, so I have to go back with the hose and spray it all down. But even with dirt and everything, like this chain is still really sharp. I'm like blown away. But like I said, I'm trying to be careful with the way that I cut it and everything, with all the dirt on it. But like I said, this is the same chain. The same chain that came on the saw, and I've been using it all summer long. It's razor sharp. Frickin' A, that's all I can say. Like, holy crap. That's how you make something that does a crap load of work in a very short amount of time, and the chain is made out of a certain type of metal that just stays sharp like forever. So these guys did their homework, both of these companies, and both of the chain companies, you know, are people that make the chains. I don't know where they're manufactured, or if it's a second party and they put their name on it or whatever. I have no idea, but it's a good setup right here. I would definitely recommend this 592. It's all magnesium. That was the other thing, and the caps and everything are awesome on these. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys have a good Halloween, or had a good Halloween. And if you guys have any questions about the 391 or this 592, feel free to ask. I've done a lot of milling with it so far this summer, so like I said, I'm pretty well used to both of these saws now, and that's why I'm doing this quick review slash story in my trailer or log splitter and all this other crap. But anyway, welcome to my woodworking world, and that's about it, guys. So hope you liked it, and have a good day.